Okay, well, that's the show for tonight. Thanks, Shake Fam.
Bye.
We are live now.
Cool. Hi, nerds. What do we call them?
Shake
Shakes
Fam.
fam? Like Bard fam?
What do we call these nerds?
Oh, that sounds like barf, so it can't be barf. It's gotta be Shakes fam.
Shake Fam.
Shakes fam. I guess we should start with an apology on behalf of Tyler's glasses.
No, these are fly.
You look like a fly
They
when you wear
are
them.
they are FAF, FAF,
Fap? No, let's
FAF.
not go there.
You want me to look it up in the Lex?
Yeah, if you could look up faff in the Lex, that would be great.
Fly as fuck. Midsummer.
It's in Midsummer. Where is it in Midsummer?
Right now.
Because I have the art in. I'm looking. So if you tell me what act and scene, we can read the one where they talk about faff.
Act Theta. Scene. Z.
For some reason, I don't think that's true. I feel like that it is actually scene Act 2, Scene 1. I feel like it's actually in there somewhere.
Act 2, Scene 1.
Yeah. Look at about line 60.
Cool. Around the time that Oberon says, ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What jealous Oberon, fairies, skip hence. I have forsworn his bed and his company.
Very rash wanton. Am not I thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn, and versing love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here, come from the farthest steppe of India, but that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your burskinned mistress and your warrior love, to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity?
How canst thou thus, for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst not thou lead him through the glimmering night from Perigouna, whom he ravished, and make him with fair Agles break his faith with mine,
Ariadne.
Ariadne, and
And
Antiopa? Curtis, who the fuck are those people?
help us,
Okay,
Curtis.
okay, first of all, I hate you. Alright, what's the first
Woo!
one? There was so much garbage in there that it was really hard to, like, pick out.
Periguna.
You want to spell it? Or pronounce it correctly?
Perigouna. Periguna. Paragona. Gauna. Paraguana.
Oh no.
You're ridiculous.
It sounds like, let's see.
Oh, she was
Paraguna.
a she was a daughter of Sinus. Oh, and there's like 4 different spellings of her name.
Here's the thing. It appears that maybe it was Periginia.
Well, we know that Shakespeare is no stranger to like just completely abandoning spellings and pronunciations as he sees fit. So it wouldn't shock me at all if it was
It sounds like someone who Theseus raped, though.
mhm.
I don't believe Theseus did kill her father. Um, so uh, you could pronounce it Periguna, Perigune, Perigony, Perigenia. There's a bunch of different spellings and pronunciations of it. Essentially, she was someone that really wanted to not have sex with Theseus, so she ran away. Ariadne, however, was his bride. So after Theseus, really, we don't need that. We don't need a profile of you.
Do we not?
So after Theseus slew the Minotaur on Crete, King Minos, his daughter Ariadne was to be his bride. And so Theseus kills the Minotaur, sails away with her, and then lands on the island of Naxos. And Theseus's fatal flaw as a hero was that he was extremely forgetful. So in the morning, he gets up and leaves without his bride. And so Ariadne's trapped on this island, and there's an Epyllion, a miniature epic written by a poet named Catullus. It's his 64th poem. So Catullus 64 is what it's referred to as, entirely about Ariadne being on this island by herself, freaking out, trying to find her husband who just sailed away.
That's amazing.
And Dionysus comes down and actually takes her away and marries her and takes her for a bride.
Yeah. That's our guy.
Who's Antiopa?
Antiopa. That one I don't know from memory. Let's see.
The Arden doesn't even say. My Arden has no notes about her.
Do I have?
Because we're looking at the same edition right now.
Man, I need a 1906 edition. That's what I need.
I have a myth book around here somewhere, but I'll just look at this.
I have bullfinches somewhere. I may not have unpacked it. But anyway, apparently he's forgetful, perhaps, because Titania led him astray.
So basically, the common theme that all four of those have, rather than going into each individual one, the common thing that those women have is that they were all desired by a man or a god, and in some way avoided that.
Mm. So, I don't know. I wanted us to kind of... I guess we can... The thing is, we stopped right before the part that I really wanted us to look at.
Yeah, of course.
Not because I want to read it, because kind of don't. How many lines is Titania's monologue here?
Let's see, it starts at 81 and it ends at
117. It's a lot. But
long monologue.
It's, to me, when I think of Midsummer, I think of that as kind of the backbone of the piece, is the fight between these two mythical people, these fairies, Oberon and Titania. They're having a fight, and it's screwing up everything from the weather to the lives of the Athenians, to the players. It's their fight screws up. Their fight is the catalyst for the whole play. And I think it's interesting that, back when this was written, we didn't really necessarily understand meteorology. So what could cause some of these things that Titania is talking about?
Climate change.
Yeah, they didn't understand that. We still, the jury's still out on science, we
Right.
still don't understand climate change. So how are they supposed to make sense of snow in July?
Right.
Fairies, obviously.
Let's go through what's happening. She spends a lot of time on it.
So, okay. These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never since middle summer spring met we on hill and dale, forest or mead, by paved fountain or by rushy brook, or the beached margent of the sea to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. Okay, but with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. So that's the first, kind of key that we get, that it's our fault that all these things are happening. Therefore, the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which, falling in the land, hath every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. Floods. Okay, fog and flood. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain. The plowman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. So floods. There are no yields to yield. There are no crops yielding corn. Like, we've got a drowned field. Crows are fatted with the murrian. I like that word. It's a word I've never seen before, except in here. But it's a good word. These crows are like eating. The crows are the only ones that are getting any food because shit's dying.
How's that word spelled?
Murrion. Yeah. Apparently, sheep plague. So, but myrrh. I wonder if it's the same. When I see it, I think of the same root as like death. Muerto.
It actually occurs multiple times in Shakespeare, but it's an infectious disease among cattle, according to.
That's interesting, because this Arden says sheep plague. Are sheep cattle? I don't know.
I don't think
But
so.
the crows are getting fat off the corpses of our livestock. There's fogs everywhere. There's flood. We've got no corn. Like, all of these.
Lost your camera, Saki.
All these things are happening that, like, just don't make sense. There's another one. Look, I think it's like a line 110. Oh, like, this whole thing is great, actually. If we go back to 103, therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air that rheumatic diseases do abound. So, just all of this stuff is happening because we're having a spat.
Yeah, she also insinuates that it should be like Christmas time.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I know there's
Line 101 and 102.
The human mortals want their winter cheer. No night is now with him or carol blessed. Yeah, so all of these terrible things. And then Oberon's next line.
Well, I don't want to skip to Tanya's last line, which is because she starts with the high brawls, you're doing blah blah blah, and by the end she comes to the like realization that it's like a group effort, right? She says we are their parents and originals, and God, I love that line. We are their parents and originals of all this fucked up shit that's happening, right?
Yep. From our debate, from our dissension. Ugh, yeah. By their increase, now knows not which is which, and this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
And to me, that's the main plot of Midsummer. I know that a lot of shows get caught up in what the lovers are doing, and they should. It's a big part of what Midsummer is about. But I mean, even the name Midsummer to me evokes a sense of otherworldliness. And here we've got this guy who wants custody of the child they kidnapped. Well, the child she kidnapped. And she says, "No, I'm not giving you this child. I stole him fair and square." And so this little lover's spat is turned the world into like just this mess of plague and strange weather.
Yeah, the lovers and the mechanicals, Nick Bottom, they all just end up around the time that like you ever wondered what happens if like the fairies aren't around?
Oh,
What
it's
happens?
business as usual. Like,
Well, do Hermia and Lysander like make it to is it his aunt's house?
I think something, yeah, I think it's his auntie.
Do they
Um,
make it there and like live happily ever after? Does do they get found? Do they get found and Hermia fucking executed? Does she like just go with Demetrius? I don't know. It's interesting to wonder like how the lives of these mortals are different without the fairies. I mean, does does Theseus choose Pyramus and Thisbe? If he like probably not, right? Because he's in a great mood because of all these marriages,
oh yeah.
right?
And something I often think about also in this play that doesn't really get mentioned or brought up at all is the stakes. You think like this is a pretty low stake play, and I mean compared to some of them maybe it is, but if you think about all that stuff that Titania just said, all the things that are wrong in nature, and these lovers are so desperate to be with each other that they go out in that. They go out into that unknown of the woods, of nature, in the darkness, to go and, try to be together. I feel like I want to kind of see like a horror version of this. Where like,
Well,
because like scary stuff is out in the woods. I
yeah,
don't know. I
like
feel like that,
fairies turning men into donkeys.
yeah. And like crows are chowing down on our dead animals. Like, and that's in the places where people live. What's going on in the places where people don't live? What kind of weird, creepy stuff is going on in the woods? Like outside of the safety net of humanity. Uh, I don't know. I think that a lot of times I see this play and it's very happy-go-lucky. It's very sweet. But at least once, I would like to see this play with some stakes, some show of uncertainty from the lovers going out into the woods.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good take, right? Like, and I think I I was probably guilty of it when I directed it, but like, gosh, it's so hard to think of. Like when Hermia and Lysander are first out in the woods, uh, yeah, that would be scary. Um,
I mean, the other option, what is specifically for uh, Hermia, specifically what if she doesn't commit to Demetrius her father gets to kill her, right?
Yeah, like that's the thing is
And
like,
again, that's humanity. That's the safe place. In the safe place, you get murdered.
well, and that's like, does the magic make it safe? The magic brings the safety back to the realm of mortals because it all blows over pretty easily, right?
Yeah, it like too easy.
Well, there are some problems. Like, I think that there are problems for modern audiences in this play. And one of the things is poor Demetrius doesn't get to make the choice about his love. He stays magic.
Yeah, it's
Like,
pretty messed up.
and also Titania rapes Bottom.
Yep,
Like,
straight up.
and that's so
And
like,
then Theseus rapes everybody.
yeah.
Titania rapes everybody.
How do you reconcile that with a modern audience?
It's tough, and I think that's why I want to see it with some more uncertainty and some more stakes. I want to see these guys like, yes, it's funny when suddenly both of the guys are after this one girl. And yeah, it's funny to see that girl be confused and upset, like, you guys are making fun of me. But I would like to see it where she knows that this shit is, she's straight up haunted. And like, there's some ghost fairy shit going on. I want to see.
I think
Ugh,
I think it
yeah.
would be real easy. Like Helena, I think it would be real easy to start her off on the edge of like rational thought and we could really see her lose it
Yeah.
because um I don't know. I think the idea like the next time that I like get an opportunity to direct Midsummer, like I'm going to talk to whomever plays. I think that should be whoever plays Helena,
To whom ever.
to whomever
Whoever is the
plays.
subject of plays, so it's who.
Thank you.
But if you're talking to someone,
Right, the clause itself would be the indirect object there. And then within the clause, whoever would be the subject of that clause, so it needs to be subjective cased.
also language evolves, so say whichever one you want.
In colloquial language, yeah.
But I think playing Helena kind of as like a crazy ex-girlfriend would be fun. Um, Also, I apologize to both you guys and chat. I've got to step away for like a moment. I will be back.
Mm, 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 Step away. Step away. Bye. Curtis, what are your thoughts on Midsummer?
I really enjoy it. I think it was one of the first Shakespeare plays I ever actually did that I enjoyed.
That you enjoyed?
Yeah. Hey, sweetheart. The audio is coming through.
Oh, sorry. Curtis, what are your thoughts on Midsummer?
There we go. It was one of the first Shakespeare plays I ever actually read and enjoyed. And then actually, it was the first Shakespeare play I ever actually performed in.
Is that true?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
It was the
That
first.
wasn't with us, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
we were your first Shakespeare?
I'm fairly certain that was the first play I was ever actually in, like ever on stage.
Awesome.
But I really enjoy it because I think it's one of the funnier side stories, like the mechanicals.
Yeah.
I think it's just absolutely hysterical. There's so much that can be done with all of it. Like there's not a dead scene for them, in my opinion. There's always something for them to be doing and something to be working with, and some bit to be going on about. And I always thought that the lovers were boring, and I'd never really cared about that story. Maybe it's because I was playing a mechanical, but I think it's also because that kind of story just doesn't interest me. Like a
Yeah.
romantic story doesn't really, I don't care nearly as much. But
See,
that's a good reason to reread it and go back through it, you know?
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I would like to see it almost as like a horror because like I mean, have you ever been out into the woods at night? Like
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
it's yeah, and we're like modern people with cell phones and flashlights and like an awareness that werewolves probably don't exist. Like
But but there is no cell service in the woods.
na 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 na. Yeah, but there might be. Depends on the woods, I suppose. Probably not in Athens. I don't know that my phone works abroad. Um, but like we're modern people and we are creeped out by the woods. Like these we don't believe in fairies, most of us. I'm not going to rule it out as a possibility, but most of us don't believe that there are magical people flying around turning people into donkeys and like leading our leaders astray. Oh my god, fairies are real.
They have to be at this point. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the only explanation.
when you realize you're living in the darkest timeline, it's when you have to believe in fairies.
Whew. All right, so there's my epiphany for the day. Fairies are real. But like I've been out in the woods and it creeps me out. And like I just try to imagine like how I would be feeling. Belle, baby, don't be over there. If like suddenly my like suddenly boys were into me. I'm out in the woods and suddenly like I'm hot. Like no, what? I'd be freaked out to begin with. Like extra freaked out if like even the most mundane weird stuff started to happen. Like somebody steps on a twig, I'm gonna lose my mind. And like there's actual weird stuff going on. I feel like I don't know. I just want a show to explore the possibility that the lovers are not comfortable in the woods. Because every production I've seen, like every scene study that I've been a part of, yeah, the lovers are boring. Because it's just lovers being in love. I
Okay.
want to see how they are affected by the world around them.
So then I think the next step would be then to take a look at the textual evidence for that, right? Like where in the text do we have, say, descriptions that support that possible setting, or is it simply something that you have to add to the words?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't like adding things to the words. I feel like that usually just muddies it up.
Well, I mean,
Like,
I'm not necessarily adding words themselves, but I mean adding the set dressing, adding, if it's a film version, adding that soundtrack, adding those different things in. So, do you rely on music and setting and those sorts of things in order to kind of set the tone, or is there textual evidence for the people themselves, the lovers, actually being afraid and being uncomfortable in the woods?
yeah, that's the thing. I don't, because like we've all seen those Shakespeare pieces that are like, it's set in the 80s, and like you look at it and you're like, this just looks like weird costumes.
Why does John Leguizamo have a gun?
I don't know what's going on. Like, what is happening here? And then you like talk to the director or something, and they tell you their vision, what they were trying to do with it, and you're just like, oh yeah, that didn't work. And then it's just because like there isn't anything in Midsummer that says, oh, that should be set in the 80s. It's like there's no drug problems, like I mean, You're like, I mean, there's drugs, but
Yeah, there's
there's
drugs.
like not some theme in here that makes me just go, you know what? The 80s. It fits. It's them. They get the 80s and they go, I'm gonna fit this to my vision. I want something set in the 80s. I'm gonna fit it to my vision.
Right. And I
And so with this, I don't want to do that, and I don't think that it's. I don't think you would have to do that. I think there's enough evidence, even if the lovers aren't themselves saying like, "I'm scared. This is scary." Um, but with the, like you said, the music and the scenery and that kind of thing
you could
would
set that
set the
tone.
tone, and then the actors could play with it.
I like that. I think it would be really interesting to not necessarily do a reading of Midsummer with through that lens, but to take a look and see kind of how that could be supported by the text and go through it and kind of maybe map out some scenes and model them on that idea.
Yeah, like here we could put a wolf howl in the soundtrack, and like maybe that will trigger a different kind of thought process for the actor instead of, I don't know,
Mm.
whatever they were thinking. It's just something that I would like to play with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really kind of cool.
Have you heard of that new horror movie coming out called Midsummer?
Yes.
Yes.
A horror movie shot entirely in broad daylight.
I don't know anything about it, but I know that it's going to exist.
Was
I know that much about it, and that it's apparently terrifying.
Oh,
is it
good.
Jordan Peele?
I don't think
No,
so.
it is another. I feel like it's a big time woman director. Maybe I'm wrong.
Big time woman director.
Big time woman.
Hippolyta.
What up?
She's a big time
Um,
woman.
so I didn't catch too much of your conversation.
The director is
Um,
Ari Aster, by the way.
is that a lady?
No, that is an American white dude born in New York.
Hmm. American
Uh,
white dude. You'll get the
um,
next one.
I'm sorry that I'm not keeping up with anything about chat or like Discord. For those of you
Nobody's
watching, I'm
nobody's
on my
chatted.
phone. Do we have viewers?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Nice. So, where were we?
We were talking about Midsummer, A Midsummer Night's Dream, a play by William C. Shakespeare. The C stands for Compton.
William Compton Shakespeare.
Yep.
So, what about this play? We talked about how the fairies are kind of causing everything. Can we talk
Definitely,
about the idea?
definitely causing everything. Like not just the weather and the set, the what do you call that? The setting, but like they literally cause some of the trouble.
Right. So, let's go through. We have Oberon and Titania who are causing this, but then there's also Puck, right?
Puck is such a fascinating dude. I like Puck a lot.
Yeah. What do you like about him?
I like that you don't know his motives. You don't know if he actually messes up when he gives the drugs to the wrong person or if he does it on purpose. You just don't know why he's doing the things that he's doing. I love a good rogue.
Yeah, he's kind of on his own side.
I mean, technically he is part of Oberon's train, right? But
Well,
uh,
he's Oberon's gang, and that's it.
yeah,
Titania has the whole big train.
yeah. But does he even is he even on Oberon's side?
And would Oberon know that it's like a coin flip? You
And
know,
would he
it's
care?
would he care? Yeah. How much does Oberon care about? Like, how much do they actually care about the plight of the mortals?
I I feel like Oberon is like the only one that really does. Like Titania, I think she cares about those that are specifically uh the Indian boy that she stole. His mother was a votaress of my order. So like I think, and what does she say? Full often hath she gossiped by my side. So I think she develops relationships with the mortals that um, please her to do so. But I think ultimately she doesn't care. And then Puck is like he just does his own thing. I'm trying to find that. Do you remember the line where upon a time, like, do you remember when we sat upon a promontory, and like that line is what I'm looking for.
Let me find it.
Where, because that's I think where it says whether Oberon cares or not about mortals. Um,
So, um, after the scene, Britannia leaves. Well, go thy way, thou shalt not from this grove, till I torment thee for this injury. My
mhm.
gentle heart come hither. Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory, and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath, that the rude sea grew civil at her song, and certain stars shot madly from their spheres to hear the sea maid's music.
I remember.
That very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed, a certain aim he took, at a fair vestal, throned by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow, as it should pierce 100,000 hearts. But I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quint in the chaste beams of the watery moon, and the imperial votress passed on in maiden's meditation fancy free. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk white, now purple with love's wound.
Ugh,
And
gross.
maidens call it love in idleness. Fetch me that flower, the herb I showed thee once. The juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid will make or man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again ere the Leviathan can swim a league.
Okay, so that wasn't the part I was thinking, but you read that whole thing. What why I do love about that though is all of the sex.
All you know, the sex is good, but the imagery, man,
And
that's
if
up.
it's good imagery if you're especially thinking about sex.
I love that. I love that speech. I'm too close to it to look at it unbiasedly.
I just so but I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quenched in the chaste beams of the watery moon. That's that's pornographic. That's what that
It
is.
wants to be. Also, it's just the vision of like this arrow at night, right? Like fucking cutting through, like
Or that.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
But anyway, all of that so that he can to say like I have this flower, like let's mess with Titania, let's make her let's make her fall in love with the next thing that she sees that's alive. And then Puck comes in and like takes Oberon's plot and like cranks it up to 11. At no point is Oberon in here, as far as I know, saying, and Puck, also, after you get me that herb, you know what you should do? Find a mortal, turn him into some kind of creature. Like, that's just Puck just making a choice. He's just, I don't really like this guy. I'm gonna turn him into an ass. And then just so happens that Titania's there and she's gonna fall in love with a guy with an ass head. But then at the end of the scene is what I was thinking of when fare thee well, nymph, ere he do leave this grove, thou shalt fly him and he shall seek thy love. So Oberon watched the exchange of Helena and Demetrius where she's trying so hard to like win him and he's not having any of it. Oberon is the one that's like seems to care about the happiness of mortals. But at the same time, why does he want that little Indian boy so badly?
I don't think he cares, man, because it's
We lost your video, Tyler.
like he's just flipping the tables, right? Because he's not like, I'm gonna give you what you want. He's like, you're going to be running away from him.
So he doesn't even. I mean, he says though, he shall seek thy love.
Yeah, but thou shalt fly him, and he shall seek thy love.
So
Because,
do you think that he doesn't care about her happiness? He just wants to do what?
well, I don't know. I think it's kind of like misguided a bit, but or maybe that's just maybe dare I say Shakespeare like it's like maybe like an incident because like Oberon says fare thee well, like wishing Helena well, clearly showing some pity for her situation, right?
Yeah.
But ere he leave this grove, thou shalt fly him, and he shall seek thy love. Thou shalt fly him is saying that you're going to be trying to get away from him,
Yeah.
and he shall seek thy love. So, like, that's not really like that. It's great, our friend Andy Carlisle has talked with me about the types of stories, and like his favorite types of stories are the stories where like you got what you wanted, but it's not what you needed, or
Or
what
not the
you
way you wanted it.
yeah,
Yeah.
or not getting what you want, but getting what you need, right? Like it's like one of those kind of. It's almost like binary, right? Like and and so this is the former, right? Getting what you want, but like it's not what you needed.
Mm-hmm. Which then leads me to think even more about how uncomfortable these lovers would be out in the woods as these things are happening. If Oberon's true intent isn't benevolence, then like if I guess Demetrius, if his actions don't stem from some kind of benevolent magic, maybe they stem from a magic that's just here to fuck shit up. What kind of actions is he taking, and how physically is he pursuing Helena in these moments in the woods?
But at the same time, I would argue that Puck makes an honest mistake in dousing Lysander, right?
Yeah. Or
Isn't
does
that
he? He just, I mean, I think he just says something like, "Yep, it's a guy in Athenian clothes, whatever." Like, you could read it as this is Puck making a mistake, or you could read it as this is Puck on a technicality, following exactly the the instructions given to him. Maybe he knows that this isn't the right one, maybe not.
I think there are a million ways to do this show.
That's the beauty of Shakespeare in general. Like, we would have stopped doing it by now. 400 years ago, we would have stopped doing it if someone had done it right.
It's really interesting, man. Thinking about like, I know that like recently, over the last few years, well, really, the Shakespeare we've done since we did Midsummer has like kind of increased in severity a bit, right? Like with Midsummer, like we really played up kind of the magic, and then also like the goofiness. Um, when we did it, and then when we did As You Like It, we there was some heaviness, some severity in there. The choice to kill Adam, you know, the violence against Celia from Frederick. Uh, but ultimately, the last half of that play was just fun.
Yep.
And then we did Romeo and Juliet this year,
Which was opposite. I feel like
right.
we really kind of played up the first half as just people existing and having fun in a world, save Romeo, the emo boy.
Well, yeah, and I think we sprinkled in like some severity, right? Like you think about Capulet and Tybalt, their conversation
Oh
during,
yeah,
you
that was
know,
intense.
but it's like one brief, intense moment in what's otherwise been a real fun time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that that approach to Midsummer would be cool because I think you have all the pieces you need for this idea that you've been talking about, right? And because that is the confrontation between the lovers can be as serious as you want it to be. You
Yeah.
know, it can be life and death, like Lysander and Demetrius, right? Like
Hermia and Helena,
Hermia and Helena. Like,
they're like clawing each other's eyes out. Like, legitimately, one of them threatens to jam her like thumbs into the other's eyes. Like some Game of Thrones shit.
like that's rad.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think you could do a serious, but like at the end of the day, you've. I think if you do that take on it, you're going to end up with a really funny version because
Yeah.
what you've got to have is everybody playing it so seriously, and so
Exactly.
like, I think the mechanicals becomes really funny when there are people like us who take themselves way too seriously with their craft, right?
Yeah.
Like, and instead of like think about like the mechanicals is like the way we did it is like like one guy that takes it too seriously, Peter Quince who's just like hoping to keep it all together, and then a bunch of people who like seemingly have no fucking clue about the craft, right? But imagine if you took like a bunch of like serious drama students and like we're like do this in like a real serious heavy like as artiste as you possibly could, right?
Oh, lion. The lion, I would lose my damn mind.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. And then Bottom, his constant interjections of like, well, I don't know, this method, technique, breathing. Like, oh, yes. That would be brilliant. Like, and
Oh, here it is. None of them like each other's acting.
no, nothing. Nothing about each other. It's good.
They're all scoffing at each other's choices, and oh, I think we're onto something here.
And like, I'm not saying that the whole thing should be like a horror movie or very serious or anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't think I've ever seen specifically the Lovers or the Mechanicals, because the Mechanicals are also out in the woods away from safety. But I've never seen any of the
They all
characters.
went back to Athens eventually. They're
Yeah,
not like, yeah.
but like I've never seen any of the characters affected by the change in scenery. And I think it's something that should be played with. And like, yeah, I just want to see someone play with it.
um,
No danger of that this summer.
no comment.
No
Um,
comment.
uh, so
Yeah. So that's I think the Mechanicals are the place where like the horror film type thing might kind of fall short, because the Lovers have a reason to be like kind of freaked out, but the Mechanicals, up until Bottom gets turned into an animal, like they're just rehearsing a play. Like, is weird shit happening? I don't know. Who knows? They're just rehearsing their play.
but then they see the weirdest shit happen.
They do. They do get the weirdest stuff.
Yeah, like Bottom becomes the fucking donkey, right?
Yeah.
Let's cast Eddie Murphy to play Bottom.
Ugh, too easy.
Okay, you can be the one to tell Eddie Murphy he's not good enough for our production.
No, he's too good.
Too good.
Too good.
Um,
I will tell Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy? No, I'm not going to tell him. Please come play with us, Mr. Murphy.
let's talk. Let's hype it. That let's go to the list of characters. And let's cast.
The dramatias persane. Yeah,
That is correctly pronounced.
Did I get that?
I think it's the dramatic person is the translation.
Yeah.
Tyler, just stop.
Yeah.
Dramatias persane means dramatic person.
It is Greek for one who overreacts.
No, that's actually Tyler.
Oh.
Is that right? Is that true?
Yeah. Tyler is Greek for one who overreacts.
Wow. We learn something every day, chat. We learn something every day. So what I want to do is I want us to hypothesize about this serious Midsummer, and I want us to cast it with like A and B level actors. So
Okay.
we've got Theseus and Hippolyta. Who do you go with?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I'm not very good at this. Who's A and B list? Can we get David Cross as Hippolyta?
David Cross. David Cross as I like David Cross, but I think we put him at Moth.
Yes. Where do we put Paul Rudd in this? Because he has to be in it. True facts.
I'm sure Paul Rudd played Lysander in this at some point, and probably Demetrius too.
No, he can't. He can't do one of those though. He's got to be.
Paul Rudd plays. Oh,
Oberon. Puck.
No, no.
Quince.
Paul Rudd is Flute, I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who's your Theseus and Hippolyta?
My Theseus
Yeah.
and Hippolyta, I would do like like Lawrence Fishburne
Okay.
and Hippolyta. I would do like Beyonce.
Yeah. That would be a good Hippolyta.
Oh, Donald Glover as Peter Quince.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Who are our lovers? Lysander, Demetrius, Hermia, Helena.
Like, um, I want, I want, uh,
I don't know any actors.
well, I,
Uh,
gosh, there's, there's an actress that I said her name just the other day. Like, I mean, you could have like an Ellen Page as like,
oh,
no, too Canadian.
yeah. Happy Canada Day.
Um, is there a spot for Michael Cera in this cast? Can Michael Cera play Snug?
He's either
Like,
that or Wall. Snug or Snout. Those are his options.
Oberon.
Shouldn't he
This
be the
this
one that gets interrupted constantly?
is
Like, don't you just see
Starling.
him like just being like, I was, just getting
He
Michael
just
getting flustered.
Michael Cera as Robin Starveling is a good one. Will Arnett as Oberon,
are we
and
just
Will Arnett in drag as Titania.
are we just casting this from Arrested Development actors?
No, I also use The Lion King
Okay.
and also The Matrix.
Because
How dare you say that Lawrence Fishburne is from The Matrix? He's clearly Cowboy Curtis.
wait, then who are you?
Cowboy Curtis is from Pee Wee's Playhouse.
I don't
Yes.
know.
It's like a
Uh,
'90s TV show.
yeah. Um. Ooh, wait. Wait. Oberon. Um.
I like need a list of actors. I need to. I literally don't know anyone. A list actors. Googling that.
Okay. Give us a list.
There. Okay. Robert Downey Jr., Tom Cruise, Will Smith, Tom Hanks, Chris Evans, Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Hemsworth, Dwayne Johnson, Jennifer Lawrence, Scarlett Johansson, Margot Robbie, Robert De
Okay.
Niro, Brie Larson.
Okay. Wait. I got some stuff. Um. Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Oberon,
Yep.
and Scarlett Johansson as Titania.
I would like to see Jamila Jamil, perhaps, as Titania.
Oh. Oh my God. Octavia Spencer as Bottom.
Yes! Let's call their agents. Let's call all their agents right now, and let's just get this thing on the road.
Can we fit? Can we, is if let's see if we can get some of that Marvel money and get this into like Phase 4.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and greenlight it.
But
We're greenlit.
we've got to start the Shakespeare cinematic universe.
You know, it's like that's legitimate because these characters get talked about in other plays. Um,
So closer to like a Tarantino kind of a thing. because
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
more tangential than it is central to the plot.
Yeah, kind of a
But
Cosmere sort of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
FYI, we are at 1 hour.
Thank you, 1 hour.
Also, like, I need to go to bed soon.
Yeah, I get up at 6 a.m. every day.
Well, whose fault is that? People with
Um,
jobs.
You're the one that starts till 9.
Listen, that was unexpected. I got an email on, I don't know, maybe Friday. They were like, "Can you come in for a third callback?" Like, what am I gonna say? No.
I hope it went well.
It went all right. I don't think I could have, for like I was telling Curtis, for the amount of preparation that I did for it, it went as well as I could expect. So
Um,
yeah.
I have an announcement for both of you guys and Stream. All right, and like Shakespeare, is that next Monday I won't be available because I will be watching the 10th anniversary of the Benedict Cumberbatch Hamlet at Regal Cinemas.
Speaking of that, you need to send me a link to Andrew Scott.
So, like, with with if I send you the link to Andrew Scott and I see the Benedict Cumberbatch, so tomorrow we're gonna have. I think we need to confirm with John Simmons that he's coming on to read some Shakespeare with us
I have him on the 9th.
on the 9th.
Yeah,
Oh, tomorrow's supposed to be like 1-1. We're supposed to look at 1-1 of this play.
yeah.
Uh,
But if he wants to come tomorrow,
maybe we
why?
bring him in. Because I'm thinking that maybe on the 9th we talk about Hamlet if we watch some of it.
I mean, that's fine with me.
I'd be happy to talk about that. I mean, we can spend some time on Hamlet and then hop back to Midsummer. So, whatever. What chat wants, chat gets. Chat. What do you want to hear about
Yeah, chat.
next Tuesday?
Talk to us. What do you want tomorrow? What do you want next Tuesday?
What are the options again?
Honestly, anything. Hamlet next Tuesday.
Okay.
We work with John Simmons tomorrow.
Well, we did do All the World's a Stage. Do you want to hit To Be or Not to Be? And hit another really famous, well-known speech?
All
I mean,
those Hamlet speeches, man. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, do you want to break down that we could talk about, we could look at different to be and not or not to be speeches. Like we could even pull up the YouTubes and shit.
do we each prepare one as well?
Yeah, let's do
And
that.
then we see all the different readings of it,
Yeah,
thus proving that it doesn't matter how many times a casting director for a Shakespeare play has seen the speech. You should just do whatever you want.
yeah. I'm in it. So tomorrow is maybe John Simmons. Maybe we get somebody on to just talk to us about Shakespeare. Maybe we get somebody that's doing Midsummer right now if they're available. I don't know.
Katie
We'll see.
wants Katie wants to see John.
Katie wants to see John. Let's bring
So
John on.
let's see if we can get John tomorrow. I also my in-laws are coming into town tomorrow, so I may not be able to stay through the whole stream tomorrow. It may end up being you and John at a
Well,
certain point.
that's
But
okay. We'll figure it out. So will to be or not to be next Tuesday, and tomorrow Tuesday, we'll do our best to bring John to you. In the meantime, we're probably going to talk about Midsummer over the course of this month because it's seasonal. And that may culminate in a reading of the play, and it may just culminate in us talking about different plays afterwards. So, Curtis, you got something?
No, I was just laughing.
Oh, great. I I love you guys. Thanks for a good show. I'm sorry I had to take that emergency break in the middle of it. Once we're not live, I'll tell Saki and Curtis all about it. Um,
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're
and
staying live for the story.
no, no, no. Um, awesome. That's it for me. Anything else from you guys?
Um,
I'm
no,
good.
other than I think that it would be cool if we're getting these slowly uploaded to YouTube. If you want to watch them, please watch them, comment on them, um, give us some suggestions of things that you'd want to see us do or hear us talk about. Because while we do have all of these plans for like we've got the whole month planned out basically, but we are very flexible and open to doing whatever chat wants. So just let us
Yeah,
know. Let us know what you're into.
we're into you. And big shout out to John Simmons, Tropical John, for giving us a follow over the last week. And
Yeah.
we hope we
And
can bring it to you next week. In the
and to
meantime,
Katie for chatting. Thanks for
yeah,
chatting.
yeah. Oh, how about this for a sign off? Peace thither.
Peace thither. But can you flip that around so you're not alienating the people from Shakespeare's birthplace?
Yeah, just do both of them. That's exactly
That
what she wanted.
that
Yeah.
helps. Yep. All right. We have to cut the feed.